So we are going to start with the third type of simplex solution. I have just taken a question. Question is all about maximization. Okay. Maximize z is equal to 4x1 plus 3x2. It is subjected to two conditions and two non-negativity constraints and two constraint equations. So I'll just try to simplify this. X1 minus 6x2. Minus doesn't mean anything. What means is this less than equal to. If this is less than equal to, I'll add a slack variable which is plus s1 is equal to 5. And when I'll try to simplify this, this will be 3x1. Okay. Then since it is again less than, so I'll add plus s2 and this will be equal to 11. And we already know x1, x2 and s1 and s2, since they are added to the equation, s1, s2 all will be greater than equal to 0. And with respect to this condition, my z will be maximize z is equal to 4x1 plus 3x2 plus 0s1 plus 0s2. Since we are not required to add any artificial variable, so we are going to solve it by basic simplex method. We are not going to solve it by big M or two-phase method. Since all are in addition, plus s1 and plus 2 are added, they are not subtracted because the conditions are less than equal to, okay, constraints. So what we will do here again is x1, x2, s1, s2, right? One second. Okay. Now what we will do is we will write the value of z, which is called as Cj. Okay. What are the values of z? Values of z are like 4, 3, 0, 0. Now we will again form this equation with respect to the conditions that are given and the constraint value 1 minus 6, 1, 0. Since there are two equations, there are two slack variables, so the identity matrix will be of 2 by 2 order. So we need not worry about it. Next will be 3, then x2 is 0, since it is 3x1 only. So 3 of x1, then x2 is equal to 0, then again 0 s1, then s2 is equal to 1. I'll also put RHS. RHS ka right hand side will automatically be equal to 0. And what are the values of RHS from the constraint? 5 and 11. So since we know that s1 and s2 are forming basis variable, we will add here s1, s2 with the initial value of s1 and s2 to be equal to 0 from the, this s1 and s2 is equal to 0 no, is not from the constraint equation. This is actually from the z equation. Okay, whatever we put here, whatever we put at the end, this is all about z. Okay, so now what do we need to do? 0 into 1 0, 0 into 3 0, and this is zj. So 0 minus cj, 0 minus 4 will be minus 4, so we are getting zj minus cj equal to minus 4. Next it will be minus 3, again it will be 0, again it will be 0. We already know that the variables that are entering are called as basis or basic variable, and the basic variable are having an identity matrix, forming an identity matrix, and that zj minus cj is equal to 0. If we even try to find this, 0 into 5, 0 into 11, 0 minus 0 will again be equal to 0. So we have got to the first step. Now what we will do is we will see for the most negative value, and now we can see that the most negative value is minus 4, okay, from zj minus cj. So what I'll do here is I'll just try to find theta. Theta will be equal to bi by ai. So what is my bi? Bi is my RHS value, and ai will be the pivot column value that I have found by selecting the most negative value from zj minus cj. So 5 by 1 will be equal to 5, and 11 by 3 will be equal to 11 by 3. Now 11 by 3 is less than 5. So this will leave the solution, matlab S2 will leave the solution, okay? S2 will leave the solution, and what will enter? X1 will enter the solution. So what I'll do, S1 will be as it is. In place of S2, I'll write X1. Okay, this is 0. X1 will be equal to 4. Okay, now again I have to write Zj minus Cj. Again, I'll try to form identity matrix. S1 will be 1, 0, 1, 0, and S1 will be 0, 1. Okay, Zj minus Cj of this value will be equal to 0. It is understood. Okay, now we need to find the key element. So the key element will be 3. So we have to make it 1. So 3 by 3 is already 1. We need not worry about it. Okay, then 0 by 3 will be 0. Not an issue. 0 by 3 again will be 0. It is already mentioned. 1 by 3 is 1 by 3. 11 by 3 is 11 by 3. Always remember, whatever is here, when we divide it, automatically it will come here. This is so simple because we are actually finding this by dividing RHS by the pivot column. And when we are finding this, this is also something like RHS divided by the pivot column. So automatically this theta value and this RHS, whatever we are doing, this will be equal. Even if you don't agree to it, you just do it by simple calculation, you will get to that same value. Okay. Now we need to find this. So this will be minus 18 minus 0 divided by 3, so this will be minus 6. If I am wrong, just correct me in the chat. Okay, minus 18 minus 0, matlab minus 18 divided by 3 will be minus 6. Then minus 9 minus 0 divided by 3, I think I am right. Yeah, minus 9 minus 0, yeah, minus 9 minus 0 divided by 3 will be again minus 3. Now if I look at this value, okay, this value will be 0, 0, minus of minus plus 4 divided by 3 will be 4 by 3. Now I need to find this value. This will be 0, minus 1 divided by 3 will be minus 1 by 3. Okay, now I need to find this value. Okay, this value will be like 15 minus 11. If I'm not wrong, 15 minus 11, this will be 4, right? 15 minus 11 will be 4. So 4 divided by 3. If I need to find this value, this will be 0, right? 3 into 0 is 0. Minus of minus plus 4. 4 into 11 is 44, 44 by 3. So we have got all the values. Now we can see that this is the most negative, right? This is the most negative. So now what we will do is we will try to divide it. Now, what is my RHS? You can see my RHS. What is my RHS? 4 by 3. What is my, matlab BI is 4 by 3 and AI is minus 6. We can see here. So we know that BI by AI is not possible since this is minus 6, right? RHS will never be minus. You don't have to worry. RHS will never be minus in simplex. What I'm saying, BI by AI, if AI is 0 or if AI is negative, we can't divide and theta is not possible. Not possible. Okay. So we are not, it is not possible to find theta for S1. Now we will try to find theta for this 11 by 3 BI and AI is again 0. I already told you we can divide 0 by something, but we cannot divide something by 0. Okay. And even if it was 0, suppose this side is, one second, huh? If this side would have been equal to 0 and here it would have been minus of something, suppose minus 7, it would not have been possible to divide 0 by minus 7. If there is some kind of minus here, theta is not possible. Always remember theta won't be possible. Okay. So what I'm saying, 11 by 3 divided by 0 is also not possible. Okay. So I hope you got something. Like here what is happening with you is, you know that Zj minus Cj is negative, is having negative, right? Is having negative value. And what did you find? Theta is not possible. Okay. Such kinds of solution, you don't have to worry whether I am getting the solution to terminate. If theta is not possible and if you have thought it properly, matlab if you know how to find theta, sometimes people are not even able to find how to get theta and they say theta is not possible. This is not the case. If actually theta is not possible, you don't bother about whether Zj minus Cj was achieved or not. Okay. This is not of importance. This thing is not of any importance to you. If theta is not possible, then the solution is called as, I think it is called as unbounded solution. What do we call it as? One second. I'll just write it here. Give me a second. The solution is called as unbounded solution. Okay. I just need to take the color. So such kind of solutions where theta is not possible, such kinds of solutions are called as unbounded solution. Always remember. Okay. These are unbounded. Who is this person who's, please don't annotate. The one who has done the annotation, please stop your annotation and rub this thing. I can't rub it from my screen now. Such kind of solutions are called as unbounded solution. Okay. Now, if you want to understand unbounded solution, you need to do something. I'll just take you to the graph. One thing is for sure, if theta is not, who has done this thing? Please remove it. It is not possible for me to remove. What is this here? Okay. Okay, so I'll just show you this question by graph also. X1 by 5 plus what I'm doing, just look at this equation. I'm trying to simplify this equation. Plus X2 divided by minus 5 by, sorry, yeah, minus 5 by 6 is equal to 1. Who is this idiot here? Who has done this thing? Just broke my, this momentum of teaching. So what are the values that we have got from this? If I can simplify it for you, what are the values? One coordinate will be 5 comma 0 and another coordinate will be 0 comma minus, I think 5 by 6 will be 0.8333, 0.83, okay, minus 0.83. So these are my coordinates. If I try to simplify this thing for this second equation, okay, so what I can do, x1 is equal to 11 by 3, which will be nothing but 2.67 if I'm not wrong. Okay, it will be, I don't think 2.67, it will be 3.67, right? So the coordinates will be 3.67 since it is x1 comma 0. So matlab it will be parallel to, it will automatically be parallel to x2 axis. So I'll just do one thing. I'll just try to draw this thing for you. Just look at this thing. This is my x1 axis. This is my x2 axis. Okay, what I'm saying, first coordinate is 5 comma 0. Just suppose this is 5 comma 0, right? And this is 0 comma minus है. So this will be, suppose this value is 0 comma minus 0.83. Okay, okay. So what I'll do, I'll just take a line and I'll draw one line from here. Okay, I've just drawn the line. Since this is less than means it will be, if there is something less than, this will be towards the origin. This is important, towards origin. Okay, towards origin will be on the upper side. Since it is on the minus range, you don't have to worry, you just have to shift it towards the origin. Now we need to go to the second equation. The second equation is having 3.67 comma 0. So if this was 5, let this be equal to 3.67. Okay, so this coordinate of mine will be equal to 3.67 comma 0. Okay, so what I have to do, I'll just take a line and I'll change the color also for your convenience. Okay. Okay, so suppose I'll just try to make it as straight as possible. Okay, so this line, what is the equation of this line? If you remember, the equation of this line was x1 minus 6x2 is less than equal to 5. Okay, and the equation of this line for us is 3x1 is less than equal to 11. Since this is also less than, this will be towards origin. And we already know x1 is equal to 0 will be the equation of x2 axis. Okay, so x1 is greater than equal to 0 will be on the right hand side. x2 is greater than equal to 0 will be on the upper side of the x1 axis. So we have done all the things. So we know that the common region. Now if you try to find the common region, just look at this thing, whatever is the common region out of all this thing. So you can just see what is the common region, which is common for all. This is also common, this part. Everything is common from here. If you just take everything from here is common, right? All these things are common. I hope everyone is getting, and it will just go from x2 is equal to 0. This will go from x2 is equal to 0 to x2 is equal to infinity, right? And from x2 is equal to, sorry, x1 is equal to this value. X1 is a what? X1 is equal to 3.67 to x1 is equal to, you can say 3.67 comma infinity. I hope you're getting. This will just keep on extending. Okay. So what I'm saying, this thing will just keep on extending. So this is my feasible region. If you can just find it, what I'm saying is this will be my feasible region. Just give me a second so that I can use some good colors. Okay. So what I'm saying, this will be my feasible region. Just give me a second. This whole thing, okay, this whole thing up to infinity, because this line will also keep on extending, this line. It is so difficult to draw here. This line will keep on extending. Okay, so if this line will keep on extending, this region will keep on going up to infinity. Okay, okay, so such kind of regions where there is not a kind of bound, such kind of regions are called as unbounded region. This is very important. So that such regions are called as unbounded region. Now there is one more thing that I would like you to know. I'll just explain you. If this person would not have done this kind of a scratch, I would have been able to use this thing properly. I don't know who has done this. So that is literally troubling me because I wanted to use this area. So what I'm saying is, there are two terms for unboundedness. We know that this solution is unbounded. But for unbounded, there are two terms. One is unbounded region and second is unbounded solution. Okay. One is unbounded region and another is unbounded solution. Now I want to tell you, for every region, whenever there is something unbounded, the region will always be called as unbounded, just like in this case. Everywhere the region will always be unbounded. For any kind of solution, the region will always be unbounded. Okay. Is there any doubt? No. So for any kind of region, for any kind of solution, the region will always be unbounded. Now, if you want to know whether your solution is bounded or unbounded, there is another type in unbounded. It can be unbounded or it can also be bounded. It depends upon your Z. Now, unboundedness of solution or boundedness, if you want to know whether your solution is bounded or unbounded, it always depends upon your Z. So now what do you need to do? You need to write your Z. What is your Z? 4x1 plus 3x2. Now assume it to be any value, whatever you want to assume. Whether you want it to be assumed as 1, you want it to be assumed as infinity, 1000, 1 lakh, whatever you want to assume. Assume Z is equal to something. Now what I always prefer to assume Z to be a multiple of these two numbers. I always prefer this thing so that I get my calculations easily. So what I'll do is I'll assume it to be equal to 12. Okay. This is my way. I just multiply both the terms so that I get some kind of numbers which are easily dividable. Okay. So what I'm saying, I'll just assume it to be equal to something. Now I'll forget what is Z. I'll just look at this equation now. Z equation. I have formed a Z equation. Okay. By taking the multiple or whatever number you feel suitable, like you can even take 1. But I prefer it to be taken as a multiple. So I'll just do some kind of multiplication of 4 and 3 and I got 12. So what I'll do here is x1 by 4 plus x2 by 3 is equal to how much? Sorry. I'm just changing. x1 by 3 plus x2 by 4 is equal to how much? You can see it is equal to 1. So now what are the coordinates? If I want to draw this line, Z line, I want to draw the Z line on my graph. So what are the coordinates? The coordinates for the Z line will be 3, 0 and 0, 4, right? So what I'll do, I'll just move to this graph. Just look at this graph. And what I'll do, I'll just put something. This was 3.67, right? So this is, suppose this is 3, 0, right? This point, I'm not marking that value 3, 0, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 3, 0. And this value, suppose this value is equal to 0, 4. So I've got both the values. Now what I'll do is I'll just draw a line from passing from these 2 points. I'll just do one thing. I'll just take a color and I'll just draw a line for you. Okay. This is very important things for you to understand. If you want to learn this subject literally very properly, if you want to learn this subject, these are very important stuffs. This will literally help you in LPP also. When you are stuck somewhere, you will be able to interpret those things even in your life if you are looking to make career into this subject. Okay. And whenever we study something, we always study to make career. We don't study to just do time pass. It's more important that you study it for your career. Okay, so I have just drawn this line. Now what I'll do is, just give me a second. Since I have drawn this line, I'll just explain you. Now, whether my question is for maximization or minimization, I know my question is for maximization. Now, if there is something to be maximized, this line should be tending towards greater than, because I want to maximize. I want to find the solution for this line. So what I'm expecting, this line should go away from the origin because it is all about maximization. It is not less than. Maximization is something which should be greater than. So for this line, which is my Z line, what I'm expecting, that Z line will move away from the origin. Now, where will it cut the value? Where it will cut at the maximum point, you know, this is also infinity and this is also having some coordinates which are infinity, right? So this will cut the axis, this x2 axis, as well as this line. This line, if I try to move parallel, if I try to shift this line, if I try to move parallel to this line, okay, I'm just trying to move parallel, where I'll cut this line at some point which is called as infinity. Yes. So such kind of solution where my z is tending towards infinity, such kinds of solutions are called as unbounded solution. Okay, such kinds of solution, just what do you have to do? You just have to take a line, z line, you have to assume z equal to something, you have to plot that line, and you have to move, whether it is maximization or minimization. If it is maximization, try to move away from the origin and see where will it cut at the maximum point. You will just see that this region is unbounded, this part is unbounded, right? So if this part is unbounded, this line, if it tries to move parallel to this line, if I try to move parallel to this line, what will happen? This line will cut at unbounded at some point, which is infinity. So such kinds of solutions are called as unbounded solution. Okay, so I would like to let you know, when do you call the line to get, when do you call the function? Matlab, I would like to let you know, when do you get the solution like unbounded region and bounded solution, not unbounded. I'm telling you, when do you get bounded? Suppose it was minimization. What I'm saying, suppose this question was about minimize, and minimize what? 4x1 plus 3x2. Okay, so now this same line would have tried to come towards the origin. Okay, so which is the least point where you can get, which is the least minimum that you can get? The least minimum that you can get is somewhere around here, right? Okay, so such kinds of solutions are called as bounded solution. What do you call this solution as? Bounded solution, right? So I wanted to tell you two things about unboundedness. When theta, I'll just explain you, when theta is not possible in simplex, you are very sure that my solution is unbounded. Okay, we don't say the solution is we can directly say that the solution is unbounded. Okay, solution is unbounded, that is actually known. But what we try to find from this graphical method, we already know when theta is not possible, solution is directly unbounded. And there are two kinds of things. One is unbounded region. Okay, and second thing is unbounded solution or bounded solution. Okay, now I have explained you from graphical also what do you mean by unbounded or bounded solution. Okay, if there is something called as maximization in the unbounded region, it will always turn to unbounded solution, which is the reason for which you get that theta is not possible. And whenever there is some kind of unbounded region and there is minimization, you might get the solution. Matlab, for unbounded region, you might get theta if it is less than. Theta is possible. Matlab, your region might be unbounded. Okay, but still your solution is possible. When your solution is possible, when you are going to minimize, you might get an unbounded region with a bounded solution. Okay.